Hey book friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Jen who reads. This is going to be the first in a series of videos that I record all about my Kindle Unlimited subscription. If you're unfamiliar with Kindle Unlimited, it is a book subscription service for your Kindle through Amazon. So a lot of the times you will look through the books on Amazon and you will see that it says Kindle Unlimited for free. It's free on Kindle Unlimited. So that means that you can download that book onto your Kindle for no charge if you have the subscription. Personally, I use the subscription mainly to check out books that I'm interested in buying because I don't want to buy the whole set and then waste money if I don't like it. For example, I read the first book in the Crave series on the Kindle, on Kindle Unlimited, before I went out and bought the series, and I loved it, so I went out and bought the series. There has been a lot of books that I have read on Kindle Unlimited that I was interested in having on my shelves, and then when I went to read the first book, I found that I wasn't as interested as I thought I was. So in my mind, girl math, that saves me money. There's also a few books that are on Kindle Unlimited that I'm just interested in reading because I want to see what the hype is, but I don't want to waste my money on going out and buying the book just to see what the hype is. For me, it has serviced me in that way as well. I have Kindle, a Kindle Paperwhite. It's an older one. It lags. It's nothing special. I think this cost me like $50. It actually used to be my daughter's, and then she didn't read on it as much as she wanted, so I took it. I really like to have this little small Kindle because it fits easily in my purse. I've taken it to theme parks with me and read while I was waiting in line. I have taken it to sporting events and read there. I've even guilty confession, I have read this at a restaurant while I was waiting for my food. So I do plan on making a few of these videos, what I've read on Kindle that I recommend, some middle grade books that I have found on Kindle. I just want to be able to put these on your radar. Today's video is going to be books that I have in my Kindle library that I have not read yet, but I plan on reading this year. My favorite romance author or rom-com author is Tessa Bailey, and she does have a book. It's one of her older books on Kindle Unlimited, and that is Too Hot to Handle. So this is the only Tessa Bailey book that I have in my Kindle Unlimited library right now. The other romance I have is called Level Up, and this is book 1 of 8 in the Fandom Heart series. Last year, I read a book called Role Playing, and it was a very geeky, nerdy rom-com. It was about two introverts who loved to play online video games, and then they met in real life and made a connection. And I just ate that up because I'm a nerd at heart. And I found that there was this other series called the Fandom Hearts series. The first one is Level Up. I haven't read it yet. I haven't read anything in the series yet, but they all promise to be completely nerdy and geeky, and I just can't wait to read them. The other romance I have is one that I'm just interested in. I am not big into cowboys. They don't really do anything for me. But I have heard Elsie Silver and her cowboy romances all over social media. So I did put Flawless on my Kindle Unlimited library just to check it out and see what all the buzz is about. Another book that I have seen all over social media is a book with vampires in it. It is A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. From what I understand, it's an epistolary novel, which means it's a lot of letters written back and forth. And it's vampires, so I've heard a lot of really good things about it. Can't wait to check it out. This is probably one that if I enjoy, I'll buy it and put it on my shelves. Another one that I have heard a lot of buzz about is The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barn. This is a YA book, and I have heard it described as a mix of X-Men and Criminal Minds. If I like this one, I will probably read the whole series, but I don't think that I'm going to buy this one for my shelf unless it just blows me away. I have The Sword of Kaigan by M.L. Wang on my library. This is a standalone fantasy. I think it is inspired by Japan, by Japanese art, if I'm not mistaken. And I do feel like from what I've heard about it, it has a strong female character, and it's a standalone. So that's always interesting because I have so many series that I've started and so many series that I want to start. So standalones are always very appealing to me. One author who I read last year and want to read their entire backlist is T. Kingfisher. I read What Moves the Dead last year, and I found that T. Kingfisher has 2 books on Kindle Unlimited, so I put them both on there. The first one is one that I've heard a lot about, and that's Nettle and Bone. I don't know what this one's about. I want to go into this one completely blind. The other one is one that I had never heard of until I was searching for her name on Kindle, and that is Seventh Bride. Again, this is one that I don't know anything about. I've never heard anything about this book on any book social media, so this is probably one that I'm going to read really soon just because I'm really curious about it. I am a big time travel nerd. I love books and movies and TV shows about time travel. And so this book really caught my interest. This is Lost in Time by A.G. Riddle. And from what I understand by reading the synopsis is there is somebody who is convicted of murder, and their punishment is to be sent back 200 years in time in the time machine that they themselves invented. So I'm guessing that this is a book that is at least at first set in the future, and then we go back in time 200 years. I don't know what the time period is that this book starts in, so I don't know when they go back 200 years where that lands them, but anything with time travel is awesome in my book. Last year I also read Psalm for the Wild-Built and Prayer for the Crown-Shy, and I absolutely fell in love with Becky Chambers' writing. So she does have a few on Kindle Unlimited. The one that I have in my library now is The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet. I think this book looks so interesting. I love the cover. I think that if I do like this one, I'm going to try to find some Becky Chamber books for my shelves, because I really wouldn't mind having Psalm for the Wild-Built and Prayer for the Crown-Shy on my shelves as well. So she may take up some space on my shelves in the future. I have been hearing so much about the Murderbot series by Martha Wells, and I was shocked to find that it was on Kindle. So I did download All Systems Red. I did also start listening to this on audiobook. I think it's a little too sci-fi for my brain to wrap around as an audiobook. So I'm going to, after I finish listening to it, it's only 3 hours, then I'm going to reread it on Kindle and see if I can kind of understand it a little bit more. I am excited to read this whole series, though, if I end up liking the first one, because I've heard really good things about it. Like I said earlier, I am a nerd. I like video games. I like to play Dungeons and Dragons. And so this next series really caught my eye. It is Off to be the Wizard by Scott Meyer. This is in the Magic 2.0 series, and it is a 6-book series. It is described as having humor, sci-fi, and adventure. There's also a little note on there that says that it does contain animated video. So I'm not sure how that will show up on my Paperwhite, but I'm excited to see what that means. Crazy enough, I actually found 2 of the books in the series at a thrift store. So I do have 2 of the books on my shelf, but I am going to still read them on KU. And then if I like them, I will continue to hunt for the last 4 to complete my series. Speaking of nerdy genres, I was also introduced last year to Lit RPG. The one that I read last year, I'm blanking on the name. It was very reminiscent of Zelda. We followed a character as they were going on quests and leveling up. And you actually see the character level up, gain new inventory in their bag, gain new skills. So I'm really excited to read more Lit RPG. And the one that is coming up over and over and over again that people are recommending is Dungeon Crawler Carl. That's a mouthful. And so I keep hearing this being talked about over and over again. So I think for my next Lit RPG journey, I am going to jump into Dungeon Crawler Carl. One of the series that I desperately want on my shelf because it is beautiful is the Daevabad trilogy. And the first book in that one is The City of Brass. These books are big. They're beautiful. And I have not been able to find them for a very affordable price. They're a little bit more than I would normally spend on a book. So I am going to read City of Brass first on KU, and then if I like it, I'll bite the bullet and get them for my shelves. The very first series that I actually ever put on my KU is still one that I have not read, and it is still one that I want on my shelves, and that is the Plated Prisoners series. So I do have Guild as the first book on my KU to read, and I hope to get to that soon. But if I like that one, I can picture that as another one that I have back here and make a whole shelf of it because they're just beautiful, beautiful books. The next to the last one I have is Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent. So I have read The Serpents and the Wings of Night duology and also the novella Six Scorched Roses. I've read them all on KU, and then I went out and bought them all for my shelves. So I think eventually I will have all of the Carissa Broadbent books on my shelf. But since I've read all of her other ones on Kindle Unlimited, and because the books are so gorgeous, I really don't want to put any wear and tear on them by taking them with me and reading them. I think I am going to continue to read them on KU and then buy them as I read them. And the last one is another one that's been on my KU library for a very long time, and that is Bridge Kingdom by Daniel L. Jensen. This is another one that I don't know a whole lot about. I do know a couple of years ago it was very popular. It was a very popular topic on BookTok and Booktube, and I just never got around to reading it. It's still just sitting there, so I am hoping that that is another one that I get to pretty early on in this year. If you have read any of these and you can tell me anything about them, whether you like them, whether you didn't like them, maybe I shouldn't waste my time on them, or if you have any other KU recommendations that you can put on my radar, I would highly, highly appreciate if you would tell me that in the comments and we can have a discussion about that. Until next time, happy reading.